I mean, the boring and obvious answer to the question is no, they're not trading Tristan Jarry. They're just not. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this, and I hope you'll check those out as well. Alex Nedeljkovic was brought back on a 2-year contract worth a total of $5 million. That kept him from heading into the NHL's unrestricted free agency pool, and that kept him very much in play to be the starting goaltender for the local NHL franchise. Yes, even though Jarry's signed for twice as long, meaning an additional 4 years, and for more than twice as much. As we just saw this past season, that doesn't matter. Mike Sullivan turned to Nedeljkovic when the team needed good goaltending the most. They got it. He went 8-2-2 down the stretch. They came this close to making the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Jarry was pushed so far out of that particular picture that even on the final night of the season, meaningless finale in Elmont, New York against the Islanders, and I was up there covering it, there was Nedeljkovic again, as if to say, symbolically, hey, dude, we appreciate what you did. We almost got there, and it was partly because of you. Which, again, kind of sounds like, they're going to trade the other guy. Except, as I've been saying for quite a while, I think he would have a difficult contract to trade. Not impossible, as we've seen in recent transactions this week alone, but difficult. And you know what? The way this is set up right now, with Nedeljkovic back, with Jarry signed for 4 additional years, and with Yoel Blomqvist having been an AHL All-Star in Wilkes-Barre in his first North American professional season, this might just work out. Meaning, look at it this way. Jarry's talented. I think we can all agree on that. Even his biggest detractors, and I'm occasionally one of them, will acknowledge that there are times when he takes the ice, he's facing some other team's elite goaltender, and he'll legitimately outduel that guy at the far end of the rink. And you'll go, wow, where's this like all the time, right? This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. So you have him under contract. You don't want to dump the deal. You don't want to dump him off for nothing or for peanuts, or worse yet, to be picking up some of his salary. So you say, all right, you never know when somebody's going to push through and find their best selves. So you buy another year of that. Just hear me out, okay? I know that's not the conventional wisdom when it comes to Jarry, but you also have the possibility that Nedeljkovic can just take over, as he did, and then Jarry's in a backup role or whatever. But you also have, and I really think this needs to get weighed in this scenario, the possibility that Blomqvist just kind of grows up a little bit. He'll be 23 years old. He'll have that full season in North America behind him. He'll have a full training camp where he's not just kind of looking around, wondering what's going on and how to get something out of the vending machine that he'd actually like to get. Maybe this time it can be just about playing hockey, playing his best hockey. And if he does, in 23 years old is not that young, he could make it to Pittsburgh, get on a little bit of a run, and you know how these things go. You remember how it went for Matt Murray. And Murray was 22 when he won his first Stanley Cup for the Penguins. And in that case, maybe you do shop Jarry. And you see what I'm saying here? This is basically, I think, Kyle Dubas laying out multiple paths for the goaltending position. I know for a fact that he's believed in that as an executive for a long time. A cynic would say, and actually I would say as well, that his work in Toronto betrayed that as opposed to supporting it, because he never ended up with good goaltending there, in large part because he subscribes to the theory that goaltending, or finding the right goaltender, is luck heavy, that it's an inconsistent position, it's a difficult one to evaluate, whether through scouting or analytical purposes. And so the best approach, again, in his mind, is to throw a bunch of them at the wall. Well, he had a bunch last year. He liked them. They weren't bad. There were times when the Penguins tandem, meaning Jarry and Nedeljkovic, were considered one of the 5 or 6 better tandems statistically in the league. And the truth is, neither of them really ever fell off. Jarry wasn't great before Nedeljkovic took over, but he also wasn't, horrific or anything. We've seen that. Look, in a perfect world, I would take, Connor Hellebuck or this version of Sergei Bobrovsky or Andrei Vasilevsky, but there's only a handful of those available, like on the planet. So you have to make the best of the situation that you have. I know, right? I'm kind of like you are on this. But it seems okay. It seems like he made the best of a not-so-awesome situation. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Caleb, who asks, DK, do you see Kyle Dubas going hard after Patrick Laine? Would he even be a good fit? Caleb, taking out the going hard part, I don't know that I see him going after Laine in any capacity. One of the things that Don Waddell, the Blue Jackets general manager, made clear in a press conference that he had yesterday in Columbus, which, by the way, it was about as candid a GM session as you will ever hear this side of Jim Rutherford. He's letting everyone know that Laine is going to be available once he comes out of treatment for mental health issues to trade suitors. He's also made known, and Waddell doesn't have a reputation for lying or bluffing about this kind of thing, that there have been several teams that have inquired about him. And, look, the guy, if you'll recall his earlier days, especially in Winnipeg, has beyond elite finishing / release / there's no reason this guy should ever go through an NHL season without 50 goals. He should score 50 by accident based on nothing other than his shooting capability. There was a reliable report out of Seattle yesterday that the Kraken and Ron Francis are among those suitors. But maybe the most significant news to come out on that front, and this came also from Waddell, is that the Blue Jackets really aren't interested in eating any of the money that Laine's owed. So you could just take that whole scenario, try to relate it to Pittsburgh's situation, and say no way without even thinking about it. And that's my inclination. Sure, Laine theoretically would be, a godsend to anyone's power play. If everything's well with him, I'll repeat, he should be producing almost automatically on anyone's man advantage, including even this one, provided he's fed the puck and all that other stuff. But when you're looking at this cap situation, when you're looking at where this team is right now, and you're committing to a cap hit of $8.7 million each of the next 2 seasons, after which Laine is an unrestricted free agent. So even if he were to do really, really well for you, you'd have no sense of being able to retain him. Yeah, no. I would be looking a lot more toward lower key acquisitions that are aimed more toward grittiness, defending better and more consistently when you're discussing the Penguins in the open market. It's just not there, not this year. And the other thing, not to be dismissed as a variable in this, if Dubas were to be interested in Laine, and I'll repeat that I can't even fathom that he would be, the Blue Jackets have this weird big brother complex as it relates to the Penguins. And a lot of the same people who instilled that complex a long, long time ago at Nationwide Arena are still there, notably John Davidson. They almost force the issue as if they're trying to manufacture a rivalry. If you've been listening to me for a long time, you'll know that I've brought this up on occasion. I don't know that they'd want to make that transaction with the Penguins. But again, I think it's a moot point. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. And we're going to be back with another one of these on Monday, at which point we will be talking about the Florida Panthers as the new Stanley Cup champions. Maybe, I guess. Game 6 is tonight in Edmonton. It should be fun.